Chris Barr getting ready. This crowd on its feet. One of the largest in Coliseum history. Over 90,000. 92,000 tickets have been sold. Zachary Dixon, a very dangerous return man. They'll try to keep the ball away from him. Barr signals we're ready. The championship is underway. All the way to the 40-yard line. David Hughes. They kicked away from Dixon, and Hughes gives Seattle good field position. Here, the starting offense for the upstart Seahawks. Dave Craig, their unknown quarterback. They know him now in the Great Northwest. Kurt Warner, rookie, Penn State. Cullen Bryant, blocking back. He played here with the Rams. Paul Johns, dangerous deep receiver. And the clever Steve Largent. He had 11 touchdown catches this year. Second only to Todd Christensen of the Raiders, who had a dozen. First down for Craig and Seattle at the 40-yard line. Warner, no surprise there. He gets about 4 before Bob Nelson, one of the inside linebackers, can make the tackle. On the front wall for Seattle, the Reverend Charlie Young. He's trying to get into the 3rd Super Bowl with 3 different teams. Ron Essink, he's had a fine year. Edwin Bailey for the injured Reggie McKenzie. Blair Bush, the former Cincinnati Bengal. Robert Pratt, the ex-Baltimore Colt. And Steve August. He was part of that Dorsett trade of a few years ago. Second down and 6. Warner. He can't get outside. Alzado and Martin teamed up on that defensive right side. It'll be 3rd down and about 4. Let's check the defense. And the Raiders are tough up front. Howie Long on his way to the Pro Bowl. Reggie Kinlaw on the nose from Oklahoma. And the veteran Lyle Alzado. Darth Raider, they call him. Ted Hendricks, All-Pro again. Matt Millen, one of the top tacklers in the league. Bob Nelson, who just made that last stop. Rod Martin, voted the AFC Player of the Year on defense. Lester Hayes, touchdown last week. Mike Haynes at the other corner. Mike Davis at safety. And the second-year man, Van McElroy, on his way to the Pro Bowl. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 5. That's Dornick in motion. They like to go to him. Down the middle, it's going to be intercepted by Lester Hayes at the 31-yard line. A flag is down. Hayes, the man who intercepted early against Pittsburgh last week for a touchdown. And we have some pushing and shoving at the other end. Well, the Raiders like to do that. That's part of their game plan. They like to intimidate.
Dick, they'd like to get your mind off the game and onto the rowdiness and the fighting on the field. That was Pratt and Piquel fighting. It's going to be a reception. It looked like they tagged Lester Hayes for pushing in the secondary. He was there ahead of the receiver. Can't do it that way.
Number 37. Interference, number 37.
To Seattle instead of the ball. Lester Hayes gives it up. 2nd and 10. Craig. Oh, there's a fumble. We'll wait for the signal. You'll hear a roar if it's for the Raiders. Still no notice from the officials. Seattle maintains. So already the ball has bounced right twice for this young Seattle team against Tom Flory's Raiders.
But that's exactly what we talked about. On a must-pass situation, look at the kind of pressure they get on Craig. Craig from the blind side will not see the defender coming. Right here, Rod Martin, number 53, and Martin slapped that ball away, knocked it loose. Pratt had a chance at it. A couple of Raiders had a chance at it. Essink, I think, the man that finally came up with the football.
8-yard loss to Seattle, back to the 40-yard line. That probably takes them out of field goal range, although Johnson has a 54-yarder this season. So shotgun time, 3rd down and 18. Craig complete to Largent at the 30, but that's short of the first down. Mike Davis made the tackle. Let's see if that's enough to get Norm Johnson on the field. And now we have some more push and shove. Boy, they are ready emotionally, both sides. Maybe too ready.
We talked about emotion being the key. What had happened is Dornick came in, lost his balance, jumped over the pile, and I think stepped on Mike Davis at the end of that play. Davis came up off the ground, and he went right after Dornick.
after West, and that's going to be a penalty. They really nailed West. So the ball goes into the end zone. Let's see how the call goes on roughing the kicker or running into the kicker.
I think it'll be a roughing call. Otis McKinney, 23, really came in there. Now, if he can touch that football, he can go into that kicker. He can't do it otherwise, and he had no chance at that football. Took a bad angle coming in. Just leveled Jeff West, and Jeff will trade his body for that play. But there it is right there. Oh. One question, did Dornick push him in?
Intercepted by Hayes, and that's going to be a touchdown unless Warner can catch him. He can. Warner saves the touchdown at the 25-yard line. There's a Cullen Bryant. Cullen Bryant amazingly using the speed to deny Hayes a score.
You don't expect a big fullback to be able to get over there and catch Lester Hayes, but Lester's not afraid to gamble. He did it last week, came up with a big early interception last week, and here he is again, looking from the opposite side of the field. Craig pulling the trigger, not a good throw. Largent doesn't have a chance, but watch Cullen Bryant, a big 230-pound fullback, getting all the way across the field and making the saving tackle.
We have our first timeout. Raiders in scoring position. Marcus Allen over 1,000 yards. Kenny King a big touchdown on a reverse last week. Cliff Branch leading receiver in playoffs in yardage. Malcolm Barnwell the other wide out. Todd Christensen led the league with 92 catches at tight end. We'll check the offensive line for you after this play.
You can't blame him for smiling.
He was swallowing the canary on that smile. 2nd and 7. Allen on a draw. He's got a first down. He's to the 5-yard line. Kenny easily. This will be a 20-yard attempt. And the Raiders use Lester Hayes' interception to take the early lead 3-0 on the Chris Barr field goal. So timeout here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 8:47 remaining in the first quarter. Bill Pickel, the rookie from Rutgers.
That's the 3rd sack of the day for the Raiders. They're already establishing the fact that if you can't run the football, we're going to put the squeeze on your quarterback, and you're going to have a long afternoon. Pickel right smack in the middle of your screen, working on 59, Blair Bush. Now, it's just a simple matter of taking too much time, and Pickel showing you how quick he can get to the outside and get a hold of your quarterback.
Great coverage downfield. Craig could not find an open man. West to punt. Pruitt. Fair catch at the 38-yard line. So again, the Raiders begin in rather good field position. They have the only score of the game, a 20-yard field goal by Chris Barr. At the 35, first down. 6:51 left in the first half. Plunkett to Barnwell. And he is out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Gary Justin, number 26, working as a cornerback on Barnwell, one-on-one on that situation, giving him a lot of room. Watch the amount of room he gives Barnwell. Barnwell drives him to the inside. You can't give a receiver that much.
3rd and a yard. Allen to the 1. Nothing. The Raiders lead. This drive started back at around the 34-yard line. He's used Allen throughout. Let's see if he gives him the chance for the touchdown.
He wants the crowd quiet.
Hawkins again. Touchdown.
Marcus Allen being helped off to the edge of the field. Looked like he may have dinged himself a little on that last play. He is the blocker. Look at the way Hawkins reaches that ball out for the goal line. Now all he has to do is break the plane of the goal line with that ball, and he's sticking that ball, which is dangerous, but he got it in there.
Chris Barr to try the extra point. And the Raiders take a 10-0 lead. Frank Hawkins camping a 61-yard drive in 9 plays. They check Marcus Allen to make sure that he's okay, blocking for Hawkins on that touchdown.
Dr. Rosenfeld looking at it. Looked like he's looking at Marcus's eye there. Marcus, the blocker here. You see him right there, 32. Drove in, head up to make some room for Frank Hawkins. You see Hawkins sticking that football over the goal line, but right now, some grave concern for the health of Marcus Allen.
But the board house reach of Frank Hawkins makes it 10-0. 3rd down and 8. Dornick. Howie Long rips him down at the 22-yard line.
Listening at home, I think you may have heard one of the Raiders yelling on the sideline. Watch the pitch to 33. And sure enough, the little toss out to Dornick. Dornick has been the 3rd down specialist, and they alertly anticipated the play. Watch it right here. Dornick just circling out of the backfield, but there are about as many Raiders out there as there are Seahawks, and that's Howie Long and Lester Hayes and Townsend and Martin. They all want a piece of it.
So Seattle unable to move the ball again. Their offense has been almost 0, and West another short kick. Fair catch by Pruitt at the 41-yard line. So West's failure to get any depth on his kicks, and there's another scuffle. Otis McKinney, 23, and lots of white shirts. 37-yard punt.
This is something you really can't afford to do when you come to play on Raider turf. They would love to get you in a boxing match, get you in a fight on the field. That's their kind of football. The minute you start playing their game, they've won the battle.
Plunkett looking deep and going long for Barnwell to the 6-yard line, and we have a flag down, and the Seahawks are saying it's against Los Angeles. Well, you knew that was coming. Barnwell using those outs, and finally Justin took the bait and he went deep.
And of course, that's exactly what they wanted to see. And now the officials are saying no way. The holding is against the Seahawks.
Jacob Green was frozen back at the 50-yard line in disbelief. He thought he had been held.
Holding, number 57, defense.
The Raiders talk about getting the ball deep. This is on that last deep pass play, and Justin, anticipating the out, had taken the bite, and Plunkett did a good job of getting that ball deep before they could be covered on the second man down.
Plunkett now 6'4", 9, passing 109 yards. 2nd and goal. Frank Hawkins, touchdown!
Calls 90% of the plays on the field. Did a good job of mixing those plays. This one right to Hawkins. Hawkins getting by Keith Butler, number 53, and into the end zone. That's easily number 45 who finally stops him, but he's all the way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Chris Barr adds the point. And with 1:06 left in the first half, the Raiders have galloped into a 17-0 lead.
Riding the good blocking of 79 Bruce Davis, 73 Charlie Hanna, and watch the play here, just driving outside. The Seahawks cut off inside. Butler had a chance, couldn't stop him with the arm tackle, and Hawkins with good power puts his feet and the ball in the end zone.
Ball up for grabs. Mike Davis with the interception as Craig's arm was hit, and we have a rugby play that's still alive. The Raiders keep passing it back, and this is James Davis with it. Now there was a clip or two. The flags are thrown. The whistles are blowing.
We got all of Pete Rozell's laundry out there on the field, and Craig leveled on that last play. We saw a very distinct clip, too. Ooh, there's the shot right there. Howie Long coming from the front. He really got sandwiched on that play. And watch.
Boy, it's like hearing the count. 7, 8, 9. No, he didn't.
He has had a rough day so far. Now he's going to go and try and make the tackle. He doesn't know if the play's live or not. Looking behind him to see if anybody's coming to level him again.
His eyes are glassy. It'll be 45 yards. David Humm to hold. Can't be any more on target than that. Chris Barr with some frosting. Much heralded Chris Barr, perhaps. Yep, this crowd of over 90,000 at the Coliseum, most of them Raider fans, and they were well treated by a near-perfect half of football by the men in black and silver. The score at the intermission, Tom Flory's Raiders 20, Chuck Knox's Seattle Seahawks nothing, and indeed Cinderella will have to find some new slippers for the second half.
Here are the stats, and the ones that jump out at you, obviously the turnovers, the time of possession, and look at the yardage. 9 yards, minus 9 yards passing for the Seahawks, who have done a great job of throwing the ball under Craig. And of course Plunkett, mixing plays well on the field, has had the benefit of real balance.
And the turnovers, normally that's Seattle's fort. 2 turnovers by the Raiders, and the Seahawks have not gotten the ball back once by interception or fumble.
Of course, the Raiders did not turn the ball over last week in that big victory over Pittsburgh either.
So the only times the Raiders have lost this year, their 4 defeats, as we documented earlier, they have self-destructed, but they certainly have not in the playoffs. Norm Johnson, high kick. Lee Montgomery. 30, 35-yard line. Well, the Raiders have been very special in every element of the game. He comes out throwing. Intercepted. Matt Millen. Dornick drags him down at the 47, and Craig's miseries continue.
We talked about emotion. We talked about the fact that the Seahawks have been playing on an emotional high. Well, sometimes that emotion drains so much out of you that you don't have anything left for the game. Maybe that's what's happened to Craig, who has not played well so far in this game. Matt Millen has played well. Read that play excellently. Got a good jump on the pass. Got across to pick that ball up, and he is absolutely thrilled.
Former Penn State star, he had 1 interception during the course of the regular year. It remains 20-0. Raiders have the ball again, 20-0 lead. Marcus Allen on his way. All the way to the 3-yard line.
Don't play without great blocking. You've got to give a little bit of credit to the right side of that Raider line. Todd Christensen, tight end, getting blocking there. Lawrence out to seal off Robinson, number 57. But here's the man that makes it go. Number 32, Marcus Allen. John Harris in a foot race with Allen. Look how many yards Allen gets after the initial contact. Got another 8 yards.
Well, Allen has not scored today. It figures Plunkett will try to give him the ball. He's earned it. Yeah, maybe not. There it is.
Plunkett did exactly as you suggested he would. Didn't hand him the ball, threw it to him. Again, the flexibility, the tremendous diversity of this Raider offense. They've made a shambles of that Seahawk defense today. Here he comes isolated out of the backfield, gets past the shot there at the line of scrimmage, and he's all alone in the corner of the end zone.
27-0. Marcus Allen, as we watch him again, Marcus Allen in, well, not even 3/4, has 120 yards rushing. He's caught 5 passes for 40 more, 160 yards of offense, almost 4 times what Seattle has, and the touchdown payoff.
Tremendous body control as he got past Schultz, and Tom Fleury's knows, hey,
it's over.
He knows.
He's on his way to the Super Bowl. It'll take a major miracle now. 27-0. The Raiders have dominated Seattle today.
Dick, it's almost as if the Raiders just played their way through the regular season and then shifted gears coming into the playoffs.
4th down and 10 at the 11. Good protection. Dornick, touchdown. Whoops, and even at that, they're still wrestling. Number 22, Mike Haynes with Dornick.
This is classic Zorn on this 4th down situation. Running to get a little extra time. Throwing the ball on the run. Excellent catch. And Dornick knew exactly where that goal line was.
Norm Johnson's extra point try. And the Seahawks on the board. 4 minutes and a second left in the 3rd quarter. They stopped the Raiders once in the end zone, only to find Marcus Allen coming back to score. But on this play, Zorn scrambling, buying time, finds his favorite 3rd and 4th down receiver, Dornick, and 7 points for the Seahawks and Chuck Knox.
Knox finally has something to cheer about. Well, he's given the Seahawk fans their greatest season. Now they have something to cheer about in this ball game.
And the crowd announced at 88,734 is a new playoff record for the American Conference. The previous mark in 1973, when the Raiders played at Miami's Orange Bowl, 79,000 plus, nearly, well, over 9,000 more than that. 88,734.
Statistics continue to reflect the dominance offensively and defensively of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Rod Martin, a man that really has been so quiet in terms of publicity, but finally honored this year, his first Pro Bowl, and voted by UPI as the AFC Defensive Player of the Year. Lawrence Taylor of the Giants, the NFC honoree. Rod Martin, what a nice man. He got one of the great smiles in football.
He certainly does. You know, I think the people who fought the hard way to get here enjoy it the most. He certainly qualifies there.
Complete touchdown to Charlie Young. Young, who will not continue that string of Super Bowl every other year. 79, he was with the Rams. They went to the Super Bowl, lost to Pittsburgh. 2 years later, he was with the San Francisco 49ers. They won the Super Bowl over Cincinnati. And now with Seattle, he hoped to make it 3 for 3.
Jeff Barnes, 56, gives him a good chuck. But that's not as important as what Jim Zorn gives him. Hands him the football. Zorn, left-hander delivers, and he knows.
Norm Johnson with a point after. And it is 30-14 Raiders.
You look down at the Raiders sideline and you sense the pleasure there. And you sense the excitement there.
And the Los Angeles Raiders pack their bags and head to Tampa. Congratulations to the Redskins and the Raiders, champions of the National and American Conferences in 1983. 30-14, the final, before the largest crowd to ever see a championship of the American Football Conference at the Coliseum, where we will return in just a moment. Well, it was a game much like the one last week. Lester Hayes applied the flame to the fuse, and his interception early got the Raiders off 3-0, and then they powered to a 20-0 halftime lead, and then it was academic. 30-14, the final score, as the Raiders are the American Football Conference champions, have earned the right to the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl. And we'll be back with Len Berman, more post-game activities right after these words from your local station.
Back at the LA Coliseum, one of the goalposts has come down. The other one is safe for now as the LA Raiders and the LA fans head to the Super Bowl. Of course, the Raiders have been there as the Oakland Raiders. Now, for the first time in their second year playing in Los Angeles, the LA Raiders head to the Super Bowl to play the Washington Redskins. Who should be favored in this game? After all, the Redskins are the defending champs, look awfully tough, had a scare today. The Raiders playing nearly the perfect game. Who should be the favorite in the Super Bowl? The early line is just out. The Washington Redskins are favored by 3.5 points. A year ago, the Miami Dolphins were the 3-point favorites when the Redskins won Super Bowl 17. So that's the matchup. We have a lot to tell you about on our post-game report. Locker room interviews, highlights. He got his pick right today. We have a lot to talk about. We'll return to the LA Coliseum in just a minute. And back at the LA Coliseum, the exuberant crowd here as the Raiders are heading to Super Bowl 18 in Tampa, Florida. Standing by now in the Raider locker room is our Ahmad Rashad with Raiders coach Tom Flores. Let's send it downstairs to him.
Coach played like true champions. You got to be proud of this football team.
I'm so proud. I tell you, it's a great feeling. This is what you dream about. And our guys were really up this week. We had a great week of practice, and it was a championship game, and they played great. I'm proud.
Merlin Olsen mentioned during the course of the game that you guys were so businesslike during the course of the season, and then you really came on emotionally the last 2 weeks.
Well, we did. You know, the hardest thing nowadays is to qualify for this playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, it's a different ball game. It's a whole new season, and then it's one game at a time. And we prepared that way. We never looked beyond anybody that we were preparing for. And people kept asking, who would you want to play? I said, I don't care who it is, as long as we're one of the teams playing.
All right, how do you assess this football team as opposed to the team that won the Super Bowl the last time?
I think that there's a lot of similarities. Number one, Jim Plunkett, the way he came back for us this year, the way he's performed. Our defense is playing super at this stage. Our pass rush is better than it was in 80, but I tell you, there's a lot of similarities. This team is a tough team. It overcomes anything you put in front of it.
I know you're happy about the win today, but what about the Washington Redskins?
They're awesome. They're awesome, but I guess we look pretty good today, too. So I tell you, we had a great game with them early in the season, and I look forward to playing the Redskins because we like to play good teams.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach, and congratulations to you.